Hi, it's Alaska Granny. Milk for food storage, it can really be complicated. There are different kinds of milks that you can buy that last from a short term to a long term, but we know that fresh milk is just not going to last that long. You can actually freeze fresh milk. When my parents first lived in Alaska in the 40s, milk always came frozen. Just make sure that you thaw it in the refrigerator and shake it up really well to blend it all back together. Storing gallons of milk in your freezer is really not practical, especially if you drink a lot of milk or have a big family with lots of children who drink milk. It simply takes up too much room. So there are other choices of how to store milk for long term. One way to have extra milk on hand is to buy the UHT or ultra high temperature milk. It's shelf stable, it can sit in your pantry. Check the date, it's usually at least a year. I store some in the refrigerator and I found that they were still perfectly fine and fresh to drink a year past the date. Another way to have milk is the little cans of Media Crema. It's by Nestle's, it's table cream, and you can find it on the Hispanic aisle. There are all kinds of ways that you can use the Media Crema in recipes that call for milk or milk products. I'll put a link to a video I made about all of the different ways that you can use Media Crema. The most common way that people store milk for long term to have a lot of milk on hand is to store the non-fat dried milk. The problem with the non-fat dried milk is it's just horrible tasting. Store what you eat and eat what you store. I have never been able to find a way to disguise the horrible flavor of instant non-fat dried milk. It can last for many years. You can buy it in number 10 cans that are designed to last for decades. You can preserve it in Mylar bags in 5-gallon buckets. You can store it in canning jars. You can use a food saver to vacuum seal it. You can even use oxygen absorbers. But I choose not to do that because the stuff just tastes terrible. I don't want to spend my food storage dollars or waste my pantry space on foods that I find unpalatable. But we still need milk. I was able to find for a while a product from Augustin Farms called Morning Moo, which is a good tasting milk. It has other ingredients in it, and it was pretty delicious, and it was a suitable substitute. It is expensive, and then I've not been able to get any anymore. Another alternative I did find to milk that I find is very palatable, delicious, and useful is the Nido milk. It looks like Nido, but it's Hispanic. You can find it on the Hispanic aisle because it's actually produced in Mexico. It comes in different varieties that are designed for small children. You may find some that are more like enriched, like formula type milks, but this one that's the Nido Fortificada is absolutely perfect for my needs in long-term food storage. You can read on the label the nutritional facts and the ingredients. Nido comes in a can. It has a tight-fitting plastic lid, but if you open up the top lid, you can see it isn't a sealed up can all the way around like cans that we would buy corn, beans, fruit, and other foods. It has like an aluminum foil seal like you might find on snack foods that you would peel it back for easy access. But that's not going to seal it up as long as other kinds of cans of food. When I bought this, it had a Best By Use By Sell By date of 1.5 years, but it's easy to extend the usage of this food even after you open it. One thing to know is you need to keep milk, powdered milks, and all kinds of milks stored in an airtight container. You can repackage this into other containers, but make sure you don't use one that ever held something that had any kind of a aroma or a flavor, because that will easily be transferred into your milk. You can also store this in the freezer after you've opened it, and that will help it to last for a long time. How tightly sealed is the Nido milk? I had to pull and finally get a little pair of pliers to open up the aluminum foil type top. You can see the Nido is nice and powdery. It has a thick consistency, it's dense, and that's what you get with a powdered whole milk. To serve Nido milk, you would measure 1/4 cup of the powder into 1 cup of water. Always put the water in the container first so it's easier to stir it up and it won't get any clumps. You can see it easily mixes together. It looks nice and rich. It doesn't have any clumps in it, and it smells just like milk. Most of us want to drink milk cold, so after you mix it together, if you're planning on drinking it, put it into an airtight container like a canning jar with a tight-fitting lid and store it in the refrigerator to pour it out when you want to use it. If you wanted to make a quart of milk, add 1 cup of the Nido powder into your quart of water. It's easy to mix it up into a canning jar, stir it around or even shake it, put on the lid, and place it in the refrigerator until you're ready to use it. I like to store the Nido powdered milk in several different ways. The first way I like to store the Nido Fortificada powdered milk is in a Ziploc sandwich bag. I can place 1 cup of the powder into each bag, and that can make a quart of powdered milk. I can seal them up, and about 3 of the bags, which would make 3 quarts of milk, can be stored in a clean canning jar. You can store it directly in a clean canning jar. Spoon it in carefully. It's very powdery, so you want to be delicate with it. And then you can sort of tap, tap, tap the jar down to get the powder to settle. Add a little more. Wipe the lid to remove any excess. Put on a clean canning jar lid and a ring. If you wanted to store these for long term, you could vacuum seal it or add an oxygen absorber, but just sealing it in the jar is going to help it last for several years. Then whether you want to make a quart of milk or spoon out a little bit for a recipe, you have it in either format. I have a bag I can pull out to make a quart of milk, or if I want to use it in a recipe, I can spoon it out of a jar that it's just filled into the jar. How can you use your Nido Fortificada powdered milk? Here's a hamburger helper I stored away in a clean canning jar. It requires 2 cups of milk, so that would mean 1/2 cup of the Nido Fortificada milk. If you want to make macaroni and cheese, add about 2 tablespoons of the Nido Fortificada powdered milk. If you want to make Jell-O pudding, add 1/2 cup of Nido with the 2 cups of water. When I'm out at Granny Camp, which is my Alaska off-grid cabin, I like to make pudding in a jar. You can add the 2 cups of water, 1/2 cup of the powdered Nido milk, the package of Jell-O pudding, screw on the lid, and shake, 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 and your pudding is made right in the jar. Pour it into your serving dishes, and you only need to wash out the jar. When you buy the Nido powdered milk, it has 53 1-cup servings of milk. There's 4 cups in a quart, 4 quarts in a gallon, so you can see that you're getting a lot of milk with your 53 cups. I paid about $15 for the Nido milk at Walmart, but you need to look for it not with the other milk, but on the Hispanic food aisle. That's where you'll find the Nido Fortificada and the Media Crema. They're 2 great milks to add to your food storage. If you have any tips or tricks on how you store milk for your long-term food storage, please share it in the comments below. There's so many different techniques and ways that we do things. We can learn a lot from each other. If you enjoyed my video, I hope you'll share it with someone else you think might like it. Learn more at alaskagranny.com, and please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.